As we dive into the latest developments surrounding the Green Bay Packers, there's a palpable buzz in the air regarding one of the team's most critical players, Micah Parsons. The anticipation surrounding his recovery has fans on the edge of their seats, eager for any updates. So, where are you watching from? Leave your thoughts on Parsons' journey and what you expect from the Packers this season. When Green Bay traded for Parsons ahead of the 2025 season, expectations soared. The hope was that this dynamic edge rusher would redefine the team's defensive identity, and for a substantial part of the season, he did just that. With 12.5 sacks in just 14 games, Parsons quickly established himself as one of the most disruptive forces in the NFL, earning first-team All-Pro honors and striking fear into the hearts of opposing quarterbacks. However, the momentum shifted dramatically in December when Parsons suffered a torn ACL, abruptly halting his sensational season and leaving fans wondering about the future of their defense. Fast forward several months, and Parsons is slowly but surely giving Packers fans a glimpse into his rehab journey. Recently, he posted a workout clip on his Instagram, showcasing him engaging in jab drills, an encouraging sign of his recovery. This video not only highlighted his determination, but also included game footage illustrating the same movement techniques that made him an elite defender. It's a small yet significant step for a player whose explosive style of play relies heavily on agility and quickness. Despite his evident progress, Parsons has been candid about the challenges he faces in his recovery. He described his injury as pretty severe, and while he's making strides, the journey back to the gridiron is a cautious one. There's always that factor, he noted, emphasizing the difference between returning to the field and performing at the high level that earned him All-Pro recognition. His honesty about the process resonates with fans who understand that elite athletes face unique hurdles on the path to recovery. Parsons shared that the first 3 months of recovery went well, but he's just beginning to learn how to run again after mastering the basics of walking. This is where his latest workout becomes particularly significant for the Packers faithful. For someone whose game is defined by explosiveness, even the smallest movement drills are monumental milestones in ACL rehab. The looming question remains, will Parsons be ready for week 1 of the regular season? As reports circulate about the possibility of him starting the season on the physically unable to perform list, potentially sidelining him for at least the first 4 games. Parsons himself has expressed optimism. He believes he might be ahead of schedule, hinting that an earlier return could be possible. It really just depends, he said. I do feel as if I'm ahead or on track to be there earlier in the season. Packers general manager Rhyan shares this cautious optimism, though the organization knows they must be prudent with Parsons, considering his long-term impact on the defense. Before the ACL injury, Parsons was a game-changer. He not only justified the blockbuster trade with the Cowboys, but also transformed Green Bay's defensive unit, amassing 41 total tackles, 12.5 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles in just 14 appearances. As we look ahead, all eyes are on Parsons and the team's strategy to reintegrate him into the lineup. The stakes couldn't be higher for Green Bay as they aim to reclaim their status as a defensive powerhouse. With Parsons, they have a player who has proven capable of altering the game's dynamics. The focus now is on ensuring he returns to that elite level. And as fans, we can only hope that the hard work and determination he's showcasing will pay off sooner rather than later. With Parsons' recovery process unfolding, let's shift gears and look at how the rest of the team is preparing for the upcoming season. The competition is heating up, and the Packers have a lot of decisions to make as they strive for greatness. As we dive deeper into the Green Bay Packers roster ahead of the pivotal 2026 season, it's clear that while the team boasts a solid all-around lineup, there are still glaring opportunities for improvement. The initial frenzy of free agency and the draft may have passed, but the focus now shifts to how the Packers can enhance their performance before the regular season kicks off. A pressing question arises. Should the Packers pursue veteran free agents? And if so, which position should they target for immediate impact? The consensus here is that the edge defender position stands out as the most critical area for short-term contributions. The roster features a promising group with names like Micah Parsons, Lucas Van Ness, Baron Sorrell, and others, but the absence of Parsons leaves a gap that could prove detrimental if not addressed. Young players are still unproven, and while they have potential, the uncertainty surrounding their readiness to deliver consistently looms large. Names like Joey Bosa and A.J. Epineza come to mind, yet the challenge remains. If a vested veteran is on the roster by week 1, they'll have their base salary fully guaranteed for the year. This decision could either yield a player who contributes significantly or force the team to rely on the current young talent, which is a risky gamble. Now, let's talk about the draft class and the potential for future greatness. If someone were to predict which Packers draft pick would become a Hall of Famer, the answer is likely Brandon Cisse. The second-round cornerback possesses immense potential, being not even 21 years old yet. His athleticism is undeniable, but the key will be his development in route recognition. NFL wide receivers are a different beast, and if Cisse can't adapt quickly, the dream of Hall of Fame status might slip away. Generating more big plays is also crucial. His college career featured only 2 interceptions, which is a stark contrast to what's needed at the NFL level. When examining the current state of the cornerback and running back rooms, it's apparent that the cornerback situation is pretty much settled. The addition of Benjamin St. Just, along with the drafting of both Cisse and Damani Jackson, leaves little room for further additions unless a surprising cut occurs. Conversely, the running back room appears to be an area of concern. Publicly, the Packers seem unfazed, but behind the scenes, there's likely an openness to bringing in a veteran if the young players fail to impress during training camp or if Marshawn Lloyd encounters further injury setbacks. Options like Antonio Gibson, who is recovering from a serious knee injury, and Khalil Herbert could be on the radar, but their availability is limited. Now, let's analyze the draft's strategic intent. How much of it was aimed at immediate impact versus long-term sustainability? The Packers have struck an interesting balance, which aligns with their approach under GM Brian Gutekunst. While the mantra of drafting the best available player is often touted, it's clear that positional needs heavily influence those decisions. The immediate needs have been addressed, yet there's a longer-term vision as well. Cisse's potential may take time to realize, and while Chris McClellan and Danny Dennis-Sutton could have a quicker impact, projecting their roles in year 1 remains a challenge. As we contemplate the potential risks surrounding Marshawn Lloyd, there's a palpable sense of apprehension among fans. On a scale of 1 to 10, the anxiety level is undoubtedly at a 17 regarding the possibility of further injury setbacks. Expectations for Lloyd should be tempered. Not only has he been plagued by injuries, but they may have also hampered his overall athleticism. As for trades, the expectation for significant moves before the final cuts is low. Brenton Cox may even start over Baron Sorrell with Parsons out, further complicating the decision-making process. Luke Musgrave remains a vital piece of the tight end puzzle, and with 11 draft picks at their disposal, the Packers have no need to sacrifice a valuable roster spot for a marginal gain. With all these elements in play, Green Bay's front office faces a crucial period of decision-making that could define their season. The balance between nurturing young talent and seeking immediate reinforcements will be key as they navigate the road ahead. Now, let's move on to the next segment to see what other developments are shaping this team as we inch closer to the season.
As we dive into the final segment of our analysis on the Green Bay Packers offensive line, the topic of speculation and anticipation is thick in the air. With the team poised to make strategic decisions about their starting 5, fans are eager to see who will rise to the occasion and prove their worth on the field. Where are you watching from? Make sure to leave your thoughts in the comments below, and let's discuss the potential of this offensive line moving forward. Heading into the season, the Packers are feeling optimistic about the stability of their offensive line. The belief is that barring injuries, they have identified their starting 5, and that continuity should bolster performance. But let's not sugarcoat it. While this confidence is warranted, it's also precarious. Each player has a pivotal role to play, and the team is banking on several of them to elevate their game significantly. The new left tackle, Jordan Morgan, is stepping up to fill the shoes left by Rasheed Walker, who has moved on to the Carolina Panthers. Morgan's journey in the NFL has been anything but straightforward. He's toggled between tackle and guard and has shifted sides on the line as well. The Packers are hopeful that this will be the year he finally locks down the left tackle position, showing the promise that made him a first-round pick. He's had moments of brilliance, but now he must deliver consistently, especially when it comes to protecting quarterback Jordan Love's blind side. The pressure is on, and it's time for Morgan to prove he's ready for this challenge. Next to him will be Zach Tom, who has been recognized as the Packers' top offensive lineman over the past 2 seasons. However, he's returning from a significant injury that sidelined him during the playoffs against Chicago. The hope is that Tom can reclaim his pre-injury form, as his performance is crucial to the overall effectiveness of the line. If he can bounce back, that could set a strong foundation for the entire unit. At center, Rhyan will be looking to solidify his position after taking over mid-season for Elgton Jenkins, who had a heartbreaking season-ending injury. Rhyan started off as right guard but struggled to maintain his spot due to inconsistency. However, he did show improvement at center, which gives the Packers a glimmer of hope for his continued development. Yet, the numbers from Pro Football Focus tell a different story, underscoring the need for Rhyan to elevate his game if he wants to keep his starting role. Adding to the mix is rookie Jaeger Burton, who the Packers drafted in the 5th round. He brings versatility as he played both center and guard in college, making him a potential competitor for Rhyan. If Rhyan falters, Burton could easily slide into the center role, which adds an interesting layer of competition as training camp unfolds. Jacob Monk will also provide depth, but the interior line depth remains a concern if injuries strike again. The left guard position will be manned by Aaron Banks, a free agent addition last year who had a rocky start due to injuries. Banks was expected to inject size and strength into the Packers' run game, but his performance was underwhelming. However, as the season progressed, he looked better when healthier, and the Packers are counting on him to revert to that form. If he can improve, it will significantly impact the offensive line's effectiveness. Finally, there's Anthony Belton at right guard. The 2nd-round pick from NC State, originally drafted as a tackle, found himself at right guard due to injuries shaking up the line. His rookie year was a mixed bag. While he showcased some potential, his overall performance left much to be desired according to Pro Football Focus. The Packers need Belton to take a significant step forward this season, as the depth behind him is thin, and the team can't afford to have another underperformer on the line. In conclusion, while the Packers seem to have their starting 5 locked in, skepticism remains. Each player has their hurdles to overcome, and the success of the offensive line hinges on their ability to rise to the occasion. If everything falls into place, the Packers could boast a formidable offensive front this season. But that's a big if, one that will need to be addressed as we head into OTAs and beyond. Fans, this is your time to weigh in. What do you think about the offensive line situation? Can these players step up? Or are we in for another roller coaster season? Subscribe, and let's keep the discussion going about the Green Bay Packers.